Hi everyone, happy Tuesday. Doing something a little different today. I wanted to do something for Watercolor Summer 2022, the hashtag I have going all summer, but I didn't really want to start anything new. So I decided to come back to this long-standing WIP from November of last year, where I use watercolor brush pens. And so right now in the top right, I'm going to put a card, and in the description a link to the part one. If you want to see the first half of this colored, I'm going to put a link to that video. I think it's just a typical color and chat, but if you just, you can always mute it if you just want to see me actually color it. So I did fill in a few of the pumpkins off camera. It had been since November since I used these. And, when you go so long without using a supply, you reach a point where you kind of need a few minutes to remember how you like to use it. And that's kind of what happened with me, was I was struggling a bit with the pumpkins. I was trying to do it live to cut down on time without having to do a voiceover, and it just was not going well. So I finally called it good. We're just going to do a voiceover. You get a lot of actual talk instead of just absolute silence while I'm trying to focus on that, and then a lot of uhs as I'm trying to remember what I was talking about. So I'm using a combination of, I use a few shuttle art watercolor brush pens and color watercolor brush pens, but mostly I'm using the Arteza real brush pens. I just, as you can see, put them just plain on paper. Usually I can just use two colors, which is one of the reasons I like them, and go over them with the light and the dark a few times to create a really nice blend. I know a lot of people will desaturate them with some water, and I haven't tried using them like that yet. I just prefer to use them this way. I have the entire 96 set. I've had them for quite a while, which proved to be a bit of a problem today because some of them have dried out. I do have a backup set, but again, I ran into an issue where one of the backup colors was also dry. So I really need to use these more. They do really well in Creative Haven books. I love using them for Teresa Goodridge's pictures. They seem to work really well for these landscape types of pictures. And I've actually used them pretty successfully in Deborah Muller books too, which is a bit of a surprise because normally they handle horribly on Amazon paper. Because it sucks up so much of the water. So I'm not really sure what type of paper she uses that's different. So, but that is what I'm doing here. And this will be a combination of live coloring and then speeding up a little bit as well. So I mean, it's pretty straightforward. This isn't like, in my opinion, not a super difficult technique as in what I do. Generally, I will start with the darkest color, and I will, shade around the edges or where shade normally would be. I make my best guess at that. I'm not always real good at being able to tell that. And then I will come in with a lighter color over that to create a blend, and then create the lighter edge of it as well. So in some rare cases I might use three colors, but for the most part I end up usually using two. It just works a whole lot easier for me. So I hope everyone's having a good start to the week. I wanted to go ahead and get this going. I've got a really busy week ahead. I have a big report at work that I do every 2 weeks. This is the week I have to work on that report. I have a bunch of prep to do Wednesday for a project on Thursday. And it's just, it's going to be a long week. So, I don't know how much coloring I'm going to get done. This is definitely going to be a low volume month for me for sure. Part of it's I haven't felt much like coloring, and the other part of it's just simply been I haven't had time. So, just a combination thereof. So let's see here. I'm probably going to start on the grass next. I figure I'll show you guys a little bit of the grass in the front. So if you can see the grass up above the swing, I made it a little lighter than what's in the background, which you can't see here, but and thus I'm gonna make this patch of grass even lighter, because with it being autumn, you know, the grass is probably starting to die, starting to yellow a bit, and so I was trying to lighten it up as we got, you know, closer to the front here. When my husband looked at this a little while ago, he said that must be reap sheep in the swing, and I think he's right. Reap sheeps are long-haired black kitties, so that must have been who I was thinking of. So just a quick note, because I mean, of course, I'll provide an update Friday. So here I remember the colors here. I'm using light green and pale green. And my pale green was the one that was going dry, and I was really struggling with. I did dip it in a little bit of water, which just a tiny bit, so that it wouldn't completely desaturate the color, but which got me through coloring the bottom of this picture. But boy, it was slow going. I tell you, nothing ruins your coloring mood like picking up markers, and I mean, one or two going dry, that's just how it goes. But when like they all feel like they're going dry at the same time, it gets so frustrating and so tedious. And so I was feeling a little bit irritated about it all this morning, because you know the top part just looks so smooth, so saturated, and I was like, I cannot have the bottom be streaky on this picture. There's nothing wrong with that, but I just want the picture to be consistent, you know, like I want it to look smooth top and bottom if that's the look I'm going for. So now, why did I wait so long on this? I don't know. I like coloring with the real brush pens. It's not the pens themselves, because I do enjoy coloring with them. And the picture looks great. I can color a Teresa Goodridge picture and I can make it look fantastic, but for some reason it just, I can't sit and just work and work and work on a Teresa Goodridge picture. Maybe just because they're landscapes, I get bored kind of easily with them. They're pretty pictures. I love looking at them, but in terms of coloring them, like that's just like not the only thing I can color. I guess I need some fantasy stuff to mix things up, you know. so so I think that was part of it. And now I need to really do some work, and I need to go through my pens, and I need to figure out which ones are dried out, replace them with what's in the backup. Um, if the backup one's dry, to make a list of the ones I'm missing. Arteza does sell them open stock in packs of 4. So I might just start investing in them open stock, but I don't know, because if I do that, then that's 4 pens I've got, and as infrequently as I use them, I don't know if I want to potentially waste that much. So I mean, to be fair, I've had these pens like at least 3 years, and they're small pens, so there's only so much like watercolor in them, and they're water based, so over time they're going to naturally dry out. I probably don't put the caps on as tight as I should, and honestly on some of them the caps stay loose and I have to tape them down. um So I don't know if I want to go the open stock route or if I want to, wait till I get a certain number of colors, like, a couple dozen or something that I'm missing, and then go ahead and invest in another 96 pack. I don't know. I don't know. We'll just kind of have to see how it goes. And, but I've just got to make myself sit down and do that. I've got 2 pencil sets I need to swatch. Well, I have a lot of pencil sets I need to re-swatch, but I have 2 pencil sets I need to swatch. Um, I need to go through my markers, especially my Copics, the ones I have refills for, and if they are running dry, go ahead and put. I've realized if I run a Copic marker like dry, and it sits around for a while, when I try to put ink in it later on, it's like it's no good. I just am gonna have to buy a new marker. If anybody has any tips for how to avoid that, I would love to know, but anytime I've had a marker run dry and it took a while for me to get refills, and so then when I got the refills, it's like I will put ink in them and I just can't revive them. Like the tips are just shot because they've sat dry for so long. If anybody has any suggestions on that, please let me know, because I would prefer to not have to buy any of the markers that are currently in my set, but I may have to buy a handful of them. But then that means I have to really stay on top of the other ones, and if they run dry, like making sure if I use them and they dry out, I do have the refills and I use them. So, all right, y'all kind of see where I'm going with the grass. I am going to speed up this portion and let us get to the mums. So, be back in a moment. Okay, yeah, I just clipped that part out. I There wasn't gonna be but like a minute or two sped up, so I figured we'll just clip it out, show you the finished grass. Now I'm gonna start on the mums down here. I decided to use yellow, and again I'm using a combination of shuttle art and I think maybe the color it for these. So, but yeah, so that's the thing. These are awesome. When I use them, I get such great results. I just need to use them more often. And if I don't, then I need to wait to purchase them, or yeah, I need to come up with something like making myself do one picture a month or every other month or something like that. It's one of those things, a lot of supplies you get, like colored pencils, they're fine for ages. Pastels are fine for ages, as long as you store them correctly and everything. Things like that, and paint, as long as it's sealed tightly, does well for a period of time. But like your markers in particular, and I am bad about markers and even gel pens. They may not necessarily dry out, but like the tips of them dry out, and it makes it a lot harder to get them going on the gel pens. And so I've really tried to be more mindful of using what I have in terms of markers before I go purchase more. And so that definitely comes into play with the real brush pens as well. Like I said, particularly because they're water based, they even stand a stronger chance of drying out. And I store them horizontally like I do my other markers. I have the Spectrum Noir marker storage where it's little trays, so they get stored horizontally. So just to try to minimize how quickly they dry out and everything. So it's probably why I've been able to have them for as long as I have, which is good. It's just, like I said, if I am going to justify having them, I need to start using them more. And maybe using them with water is a good way to use them on some of the pages, instead of using just regular watercolors, maybe I dip these in a cup of water and use them to base an Erie page or a Joanna Bassford page or something like that. So I mean, there's a lot of different ways I could use them, that I really need to start diversifying how I use these. So but anyway, other than like 2 pictures a year. So they actually do really well on the cardstock that I use on my printer as well. I did a really pretty picture from Coloring Book Cafe in honor of Annie after she passed away a few years back, and they did great on that paper as well. So yep, just need to set some goals for myself on these. Of course, like I said, the most painstaking part of this is, why am I taking so long here? Oh, right, I had to pick out the colors. The most painstaking thing I have to do here is actually, like I said, go through them and check them all right now. So maybe I'll do that sometime this week. I don't know. It's going to be a really busy week. I can't remember if I said that. I've tried recording this 5 or 6 times, so if I repeat myself, it's simply because I thought it was in another recording and I didn't realize I've already said it. So I got my books reorganized this weekend, spent Saturday doing that, and about just was pouring sweat when I was done. Even though we have a good AC unit, it just is simply too hot to function right now. Plus, it's an older house, and while our AC system is good, we do have older style, like the old pulley style windows and stuff. So that's, you know, something we need to fix next. We just haven't got around to it quite yet. And yeah, so let me see. How quick are we going to do this part? Oh, yeah. So I did want to tell you guys, for those of you that saw it on Instagram, and, you know, Friday, of course, I'll provide updates, but Friday probably won't be a typical coloring chat just because we're doing the 80s themed book, which hopefully I'll be able to get pencil added to it this week. If not Friday, it may just be markers. It looks good without the markers. I just wanted to add pastel pencils or colored pencils to it. So we'll see. Hopefully I can sneak some time either Thursday or Friday to do that. Otherwise, I mean, I'm going to be pretty busy through about midday Thursday. So anyway, so Scamper, having a little bit of concern about Scamper. I had noticed when I came back from my trip, she wasn't eating as much as she usually does, and I just chalked it up to the heat, because some of them when it's hot just don't eat as much. But I could tell she had lost some weight, and so I'm like, well, she's going for senior wellness anyway, so I take her in for that. She had lost 1 pound over the past year, which I feel like it happened like in the last few months. But the vet just didn't seem all that concerned. She didn't want to do blood work. I really should have just pushed for it then. Though, for all I know, it would have done the same thing it does now, which is not show anything, really. But anyway, I brought her home, and she just continued to get to the point where she just wasn't hardly eating any wet food. I was barely seeing her eat dry food. And I took her in, and she had dropped another pound in a month. And she's under 7 pounds now, which, you know, she's a medium-sized cat, and she weighs less than Sidonia now, and that's saying something, because Sidonia's a small cat. So we ran blood work on her. Her kidney values are just over the high threshold, she said. Her kidney condition is, and she tested normal last year at this time. So she said her kidneys are not in the position that should be causing her nausea or pain or anything. They're just starting to, because she's 15, you know, they're just starting to scoot towards, you know, not working as well. But she's like, they're nowhere near to the point where she should be experiencing nausea or anything from that. The only other thing was she was anemic a little bit, which brought back memories of Maggie last year. That didn't help, especially because she's been staying upstairs mostly, like he did last year. Um, and so the vet couldn't really figure out. I mean, she felt around if she had any sort of obstruction. Like, she likes to lick plastic, but she doesn't ever eat plastic. However, had she eaten plastic, or she had a hairball issue or something like that, Dr. Mandy was like, I would have felt it, and she would have been hollering because it would have been painful. And she, like, you know, did very thorough exam of her stomach and her abdomen, and didn't feel anything. And she said, you know, the next step, if things don't improve, is an abdominal ultrasound. She's like, she doesn't feel like any sort of mass or anything like that. Um, so what we're doing is they gave her a short-acting steroid shot. She's going to B12 shots weekly, and I am giving her a supplement that's supposed to have different types of pre and probiotics, and it's supposed to have something in it that's supposed to, like, pancreatic enzymes that are supposed to help her body absorb food better. So that, and she's on anti-nausea meds. So we started all that Friday. I've been able to get her to eat. I am, you know, though with the short-acting steroid, that also doesn't surprise me, because that's usually a good way to kickstart them eating. So I'm a little nervous about the next few days as it wears off. You know, will she go eat as much as she has been? But I really have to stay with her and encourage her to eat. Like, I have to pet on her, and really just encourage her to eat. And which she's been eating a lot better this weekend because of that. She seems real nervous around the other cats, though, all of a sudden, and like, just noises, and she never liked thunder, but other than that, she's never been a skittish cat, you know. So I asked the vet today if she thought maybe amitriptyline would help. Maybe something's changed in the cat dynamic, and maybe Winry's picking on her and stressing her out. I'm thinking it's probably Winry, if it's any of them. So I don't know. Hopefully we'll be able to figure it out. She ain't got much left to lose before it really starts affecting her blood work and her issues. So she's supposed to go back in 4 to 6 weeks if everything tracks okay. But of course, if she's not improving any here in a week or two, she'll have to go back in. So any kind thoughts or anything would be appreciated. I just wanted to kind of let you guys know. Like I said, she had a pretty decent weekend. She was actually downstairs this morning. She'd been staying upstairs and has been staying upstairs quite a bit. And I'm trying to rationalize it with myself and say this anti-nausea med, the Serenio, probably makes her a little sleepier. And if she's a little anemic, then she probably doesn't feel great. So she's up there, you know, because of that. But it's not dire like it was with Maggie. So, you know, I'm just having flashbacks, and it's not going well. But anyway, any thoughts, prayers, what have you could spare towards her, I would appreciate it. It's just, you know, it's been almost a year since Maggie passed away, and we've been very fortunate because we were losing about 2 or 3 a year, and she's always been one of the healthiest ones I hadn't had, other than hairballs, because she's very long. She's got a lot of fur. She's long haired. Other than hairballs occasionally irritating her stomach, and we ruled that out because she hadn't been trying to throw up or anything, as far as I can tell. Other than she's been fit as a fiddle her entire life. Like, I've just very rarely had to take her in for anything to the vet's office. So to have her just all of a sudden sick like this is it's pretty tough. So like I said, she's always been one of my hardier cats. And it just, that's what happens when they get older, is like, you know, some of mine that don't have problems for years suddenly crop up with a whole host of issues all of a sudden when they, you know, get older. So all right, so I've been slowly coloring here. We're going to speed it up a little bit. I do want to show you guys well, you guys will see the leaves. We're going to go ahead and speed this up. I didn't want to turn this into a full coloring chat. However, I did, you know, kind of want to let you guys know that. Again, Friday hopefully will be the 80s and early childhood themed coloring chat. Sunday should be completed pages. It's going to be, like I said, a pretty low volume this month. I was really hoping I was in the mood to color more this week, but worrying about Scamper, really, anytime a cat health issue comes up, it really sucks any coloring mojo I have out of me. So I've been distracting myself more with video games this weekend than coloring. So I don't know how much more I'm going to get done this month, and I'm bummed about it, but you know, it happens, and you know, maybe next month will be a better month. I hope so, because this month has sucked. This is like between finding out about my contracting job and then this happening, and I'm waiting for the next shoe to drop at this point. I just really need August to be a killer month for me. So that would be nice. I could use a break, because June wasn't that great either. Just, yeah, I don't know, it's just been a rough few months. And like I said, just about time. It feels like when one thing goes wrong, it just all goes wrong. So anyway, all right, let me speed this up. And at the very end, you will see me add gel pen to the edges. I use a red pen from the vintage colored Arteza gel pens. It's like it looks almost like a dark autumn red, which is why I end up using it. So I'm going to speed this up and then show the finished picture. And here we are, all finished up. So yeah, I mean, the picture looks fantastic. Like I said, these pictures that I use with the real brush pens always turn out just really nice and vibrant, and I enjoy the process when I'm using the pens a lot. Just like I said, I don't know, like, this is a pretty picture. I'm proud of it. I, worked hard on it, but it just doesn't give me the same kind of satisfaction some of the other pieces I do, like the Space Adventures picture and stuff. Like I said, maybe it's just the subject matter of it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why, but that doesn't mean I don't enjoy doing these types of pictures as well. So, wanted to show you guys, like I said, I like to challenge myself with some different things, and so a lot of times it's coloring outside my comfort zone, and Teresa Goodridge pages. That's, I think, part of it too, is they're such beautiful pages. I get so nervous I'm going to muck them up. Like, I'm scared I'm going to do something, and I mean, I feel like I did this picture justice, but like, I'm scared I'm really going to muck one of them up. And so maybe I don't feel that way about some of the other pictures I tackle, because they don't, I mean, the art's just as good, but I don't know how to explain it. Does that make any sense? Like, Teresa Goodridge can be oddly intimidating to me. And that's why a lot of times I come after her pages with watercolor or colored pencil or something, just because trying a different medium it doesn't make me think so hard with them, I guess, if that makes any sense. So maybe that's it. I think that's probably it. So I use my video time is used for me figuring out what is screwy in my head and what makes me think, what makes me tick. I consider this basically free therapy, because it helps me figure all this stuff out every time I get to talking about it. So yeah, so another contribution for Watercolor Summer 2022, showing you guys the real brush pens. I think if you like coloring in a lot of Creative Haven books, if you like Deborah Muller, those are two types of books in particular I know these do great in. I've used them in a Marjorie Sarnett picture, and they did beautifully. So if you like coloring in Creative Haven, I definitely would recommend these as an alternative way to color. And like I said, what I'd like to do eventually is to even use them in other books as like a watercolor base. One of the things that makes me nervous is because of the size of the pen. I'm nervous to use them over large spaces, because if they run dry on me, then I'm in trouble, So I tend to like to use them in pages like this, because they have little smaller spaces, so if something does go wrong, I can usually figure out some way to fix it in a smaller space like this. So, but I enjoy using them, and as long as I color in the Creative Haven books more often and get past this intimidation thing I have about them, I think they're a fun investment, a fun way to use watercolor. So if you have any questions about them, or you want to see anything else with them, please leave it in the comments. I will do the best I can. Like I said, there's limitations. I'm willing to try them on like a Camellia Angel Cova page if somebody wants me to. I can try them with the water and without, particularly because those areas are so small that I don't feel like I would use up a whole pen on a page. But if it's a page with a lot of large spaces and stuff, I just don't want to use them that way, because I don't want to use them up so quickly. So if I ever get to the point that I'm using them in large spaces, that's probably where the 4-packs will come in handy. So for me, these seem built more for more detail work, I guess, than, large coverage. That's where your watercolor paints would come into play. So, but yeah, if you have an idea for somewhere you want me to use these, let me know, and I'll let you know if that's something I can do. and we'll try it out. So hopefully, I don't know, won't next Tuesday will be the kickoff tags for August. So hopefully I can do a watercolor summer demo the weekend after next, in something. And I'm hoping by then that I feel a little more like I want to get back into my watercolors. I do want to color in my other Grace J book, I think next month. I might see, Tammy's got that one too. I might see if she wants to do a buddy color in that one next month. But we'll do another watercolor demo. Again, if there's something in particular you want to see, let me know in the comments. So thanks guys for watching. Again, if I'm quiet, a little quiet this week on Instagram or on YouTube or anything, I've just got my head down working. Just assume all's well, because no news is good news when it comes to Scamper, and I'm going to get everybody's books out from the giveaway by Wednesday. So thanks guys for watching, and bye for now.